Okay, so today we're doing something a little different. We're going to take that dream vacation you're planning, tapas, Gaudí, sunshine in Barcelona, and we're going to see how it stacks up against some of the biggest, messiest forces on the planet, the global economy. Sound interesting? Let's get into it. So let's say you've got your heart set on Barcelona for 2026. You can probably already taste the patatas bravas, right? Feel that warm Spanish sun. You're dreaming about wandering through the Gothic quarter, staring up at Gaudí's incredible buildings, maybe catching a sunset over the sea. It sounds absolutely perfect. And you're not wrong to feel that way. The travel guide at Charming Escape puts it perfectly. It's a city you just fall for right away. The vibe, the food, the history. It's the real deal. But here's where things get interesting. While you're busy planning your perfect itinerary, the world economy is in the back, cooking up its own chaotic menu for 2026. And believe me, what it serves up could directly affect your travel budget, the size of the crowds, and pretty much your entire experience. So let's start with the big picture. I want you to imagine the entire global economy as like a really high-stakes professional kitchen. And things are they're getting intense. A&G's Global Outlook report came up with this fantastic analogy. If you've ever seen the show The Bear, you know exactly what they mean. Total chaos, super high stakes, unexpected problems firing off left and right. That's pretty much the vibe for the global economy heading into 2026. It's a world of last-minute improvising. So let's look at the ingredients of chaos on the menu. First up, we've got these really short, frequent inflation cycles. I mean, forget slow and steady. We're talking about whiplash-inducing price swings. Then you've got this simmering pot of geopolitical tension that could boil over at any second. And here's a really weird one. There's this major disconnect between all the political drama and how the financial markets are actually behaving. It's kind of like the diners are having a great time, totally unaware the kitchen is on fire. And right in the middle of all of it are the central banks, the head chefs basically, who are just trying to improvise and keep the whole thing from going up in flames. So what does this all mean for you, the traveler? Well, it's simple. All that chaos means total unpredictability. The price you see for a flight today might be completely different next month. The hotel you're eyeing, that fancy dinner you want to have, their costs are all tied to these huge chaotic forces. Planning your budget is going to be more of an art than a science. All right, so that's the global kitchen in all its chaotic glory. But now let's zoom in a little. Let's head over to Europe, which has its own very unique economic situation going on. And this metaphor is honestly just perfect. Economists are looking at Germany, which is Europe's biggest economy, and a spending stimulus they've promised. But so far, nothing's really happened. It's exactly like trying to get ketchup out of one of those old school glass bottles. You shake it, you tap the bottom, nothing, 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 and then whoosh, it all comes pouring out at once. Well, that's the idea here. When that economic boost finally happens, it's going to spill over into the entire Eurozone. So, what does this ketchup effect mean for your wallets? Well, it could go one of two ways. Scenario 1, the ketchup stays stuck in the bottle, the economy stays slow, and the euro gets weaker. If you're traveling with, say, US dollars, that's awesome news. Your money goes way further, your trip feels cheaper. But scenario 2, the ketchup splurges out, the economy gets that big boost, and the euro gets stronger. Suddenly, your dollar buys less, and that same trip just got more expensive. So, which one is it going to be? Well, if we look at the numbers here, we can see ING's forecast for the euro versus the US dollar in 2026. And you can see a clear trend. It's slowly but surely getting stronger as the year goes on. So that suggests the catch-up splurge is the more likely scenario. So you should probably prepare for a slightly more expensive, but also more vibrant Europe. Okay, this is the fun part. This is where we take all these big, abstract economic ideas and see how they're actually going to show up during your trip, right on the streets of Barcelona. First things first, you can't go to Barcelona without seeing the incredible work of Antoni Gaudí. His buildings basically are the city. So get this. The Sagrada Família, Gaudí's most famous masterpiece, is actually scheduled to finally be completed in 2026. That is a huge deal, a once-in-a-lifetime event. Now, what happens when you combine that with a recovering European economy? You get a massive surge in tourism. The lines, which are already super long, could be astronomical. It's a perfect storm of a unique event and an economic trend affecting your vacation. All right, let's talk about maybe the best part of any trip to Barcelona, the food. Picture this. You're doing a tapas tour in the super cool Elborn neighborhood. Let's bring this down to earth. You order a simple, delicious plate of patatas bravas. In that chaotic kitchen economy we were talking about, the price could go either way. If inflation stays high, that dish might cost you 5% more than you planned. But if things cool down, hey, it might even be a little cheaper. The point is, there's uncertainty baked into even the smallest things you buy. After all that walking and eating, you're going to want to chill out for a bit. And Barcelona to beach is the classic spot to do just that. But while you're laying out your towel, think about this number, 15%. That's the savings rate right now in the Eurozone, which is way higher than it was before the pandemic. That is a ton of extra cash just sitting in European bank accounts. And that leads to a big question. What if 2026 is the year Europeans finally decide to spend all that saved up money? If they start splashing the cash, you're definitely going to feel it. It's going to mean busier restaurants, more crowded beaches, and more competition for everything. Your relaxing day at the beach might get a little more energetic. Okay, so with all this chaos and uncertainty, how do you make sure your trip is still amazing? Look, this isn't about being negative, it's about being smart. So let's build your 2026 Barcelona playbook. Here are 4 simple, concrete things you can do. 1. Keep an eye on those exchange rates. Remember the catch-up? The euro is expected to get stronger, so locking in big costs like flights and hotels early on could seriously save you some cash. 2. Book your big attractions, especially Sagrada Família, as far in advance as you possibly can. Skip-the-line tickets are going to be your absolute best friend. 3. Build a little cushion into your daily budget, maybe an extra 5 or 10% for food and souvenirs. That'll absorb any of those surprise price swings. And 4, a really practical tip, busier streets mean a higher risk of pickpockets, so just be extra aware of your stuff in crowded spots like La Rambla. So, we'll end on this thought. Knowing about all these huge, invisible economic forces doesn't have to be scary. Actually, understanding it all can be empowering. It changes you from just another tourist into a savvy traveler who's ready for anything. It helps you navigate the chaos and make sure your 2026 Barcelona trip is that incredible escape you've been dreaming of. Because in an uncertain world, a smart plan might just be the secret ingredient to a truly great adventure.